And we are recording.
Bet.
Let's
go. We're live right now?
We're live.
All right, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome to episode 28, 29 of the podcast with the boy Abraham Casallas.
What's going on, guys?
Casallas, right?
Yeah.
Casallas. Yeah, the man from Miami, being very, generous with his hospitality. I appreciate you having me down here.
Absolutely,
having
dude.
a great time. A great time. Interesting city. I was uncertain of moving here, but the Miami vibes are pretty immaculate. Immaculate. So I'm stoked about it. I'm really stoked about it.
So let's dive a little bit into that. Why are you here? Why are you in Miami right now?
Miami. Fuck. Dude, Ohio just was not cutting it. Like you said, becoming a big fish in a little pond.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody knows everybody, and it's just like almost becomes toxic to a point, where it's just like I've had enough of these people. Like nothing against them, like they're all great people, but it's just like there's so much more to the world than this little bubble, and not everyone understands that. But like once you escape this little bubble that you're in, and these new experiences, they bring you new emotions, and these new emotions bring you new thoughts, and these new thoughts bring you new ideas, and these new ideas just collaterals, and you just on this journey of self-improvement, and it just never stops.
100%. Totally relate to that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of shared that I had a similar experience back when I was living in Reading,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt this call to adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And while I love the city that I used to live at, I felt that there came a point where it was kind of stunting my growth.
Yeah,
and
holding you back.
Absolutely. And I remember I had a conversation with a mentor of mine. He was, you need to get out of there. I mean, it's only 60,000 people, right? And it's tiny. I know you're in town with
Tiny, bro.
5,000 people.
I mean, I'm ballparking 5,000.
Right. So I'm curious, how is this call to adventure manifesting in your life recently?
Question.
Because I'm sure this is something that a lot of people, most of us, experience. It's something that happens when it's kind of like a coming of age thing.
Mm-hmm.
That happens. It's like you get this call to adventure to either go on a mission,
Mm-hmm.
leave your home. Again, I've shared with you what my own experience has been, but I'd love to hear how this is manifesting in your own life right now.
Hell yeah, that's a great question. So like, I would say it all started when I went out to California in April. Like that's some guy DM me. He was like, "Yo, you should come out." I was like, "No way, this is like legit." So I just hardly knew this dude. I went out there. It was so great. He let me drive the Lambo. Like, gave me a great California experience, and like I became hooked to it. I'm like, wow, like Ohio is not shit compared to like what is out in this world, bro. So I got really hooked to the travel and the spontaneity. Like me and my friend Ty will take these random trips, like as much as we can. Like when we're both free on a weekend, we're like, well, we should just go somewhere, because what are we gonna do here? Absolutely nothing. So like the Miami factor came into like when honestly when you started mentoring me, I never even have thought about Miami, and then like once I started thinking about it, I put the pieces of the puzzle together. Like it's warm, got the beach, got the downtown Miami, the nightlife. Like it's a change of identity, which I think not even a change of identity. Like what do you call it again?
Yeah. So for me, I think what you're hinting at is this identity shift that happens when you take yourself out of the environment that you're in.
Yeah.
And if you upgrade to, let's say, a better or a different environment that gives you more, you literally become a different person. There's a idea called ontological design that we create our environments, and then they return the favor. They in turn create us.
Yes.
So it's so key to be conscious of, hey, like, what's your environment feeding you?
Yeah, like in that environment in Ohio, it's not feeding me shit. Like other than like people with closed minds. Like no one there really has, that I know of, other than like my few close friends, have the mindset of like, let's become something, like let's do something absolutely fucking insane. Like not many people think like that, and I feel like a lot of people underestimate their capabilities by far. Like I see so much potential in so many of my friends and my peers, and I try to draw it out of them. I try to draw this potential out of them. Like, bro, you need to like execute, like put this into reality. And like a lot of them just aren't. They don't have the vision. Like it's hard to instill within somebody. And I feel like it has to come from within. Like it can't be from an external source.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And they might have the vision. Mm-hmm. They might have the desire. They might say to themselves, yeah, this would be cool to have, or it would be cool to live a life where I am doing what I want to do. I'm surrounded by the people I want to be surrounded with. I'm making the money that I want to be making. But they don't believe it's possible.
They don't. Like,
Not for them.
Like I posted a video on TikTok the other day of the skyline right here. I said, "The world is yours, my friend." And like someone commented on it, said, "Easy for you to say." And it kind of got under my skin because I'm like, dude, I came from exactly where you're at right now. It just takes time. Like you can do it. Like I'm no different than anybody else. You and I are no different than anybody else. It's just like we instilled a work ethic into ourselves and backed it by faith and persistence. Like we understand that we can do anything. So we're obviously out here doing it because we understand these things that hopefully one day more can understand.
Absolutely. Well, that comment, the person that made that comment on that video, easy for you to say. Like if you look at their mindset, they're coming from a state where they think that you have it different. Yeah, like look, we all start at different starting points, right? Like I'm not saying that's not the case, but even then, you can still make shit happen.
Oh my gosh, fucking anything, bro.
Anything.
Like no matter what cards you're given, like they're always out of it. Like my mom was homeless, grew up in an RV pretty much, and she raised 3 kids with that all. One went to Ohio State, the other one just graduated from med school, and then me. Like she was handed a shitty ass hand, and she had to do what she had to do. She worked every day, like met people because you can't do it by yourself. No. Like you'll never be able to make it by yourself. So being able to step out of your comfort zone and just be able to be not even necessarily extroverted, but outgoing. Just when you need to, just be able to flip a switch because everybody has it within them. It's something in their subconscious brain holding them back, saying like, "Oh, social anxiety." You know what I mean? But everyone is capable of it. All you have to do is put yourself out there. Because how many times like people, for example, new to a college campus, and they're like, how do I make new friends at a college campus? And literally all you have to do is just break the ice. Just break the ice. Like that's all you have to do with anyone. Like guys picking up girls, all you have to do is be easy to talk to. Like that's literally it. Just be easy to talk to. And like it is being able to flip that switch.
100%. And when you do that, when you step out of your comfort zone and you take that first step into discomfort, you create opportunities. And I generally believe that the universe wants you to do that because that's how we experience growth. And what's cool is when we go going back to that person that commented on your TikTok, they're probably feeling that and they have beliefs that they have accepted about what is possible and what is not for them. But what's cool, you probably trigger them, something in them, because they want that.
Jealousy.
They want that life, right? And what's cool is that if that person was to answer that call to adventure that I'm sure that they're feeling, that they're not taking action on because of their limiting beliefs, if they were to answer that call to adventure, something interesting happens when the universe it starts to help you out.
Starts guiding them, a little nudge. Like, and all it takes is just one step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then it just starts the domino effect because you kind of get addicted to it. Like, me and my friend Ty, are always just looking for ways to step out of our comfort zone. Like, we were at this party the other week, and it was just so uncomfortable. Like, the vibes there were just not a thing. And we were just kind of, forcing ourselves to be uncomfortable because it's just you grow from it. You learn so much from uncomfort. There's nothing that will teach you like uncomfort. Like that is one of the main contributors to me wanting to move to Miami, is so I can be on my own. I can be uncomfortable as fuck. And I when you're under that kind of pressure, you have to perform, and there's no other alternative other than performing. So being able to put yourself under the pressure intentionally, it's just a secret to success, I feel like.
Absolutely. And I generally believe that life starts right at that point when you step out of your comfort zone, because when you're within your comfort zone, you're living within this comfort zone where everything's safe, everything's known, nothing's different, and you're like, okay, I feel safe here, which means you're not experiencing everything that's outside of that comfort zone, and that comfort zone is tiny. So when you decide to step out of that comfort zone, you start to connect with people. You start to meet different kinds of people, have different kinds of experiences,
connections.
Yeah, and you start to truly live life. And what a shame to live a life where you never step out of your comfort zone, and that was the life you lived. What was inside of that comfort zone? Not realizing that, look, you're in a jail of your own making, and you have the keys. You're just scared to use them, and
literally.
And I think people think, oh, well, easy for you to say, right? But you feel the fear too.
Oh yeah, I've learned that like courage is not an absence of fear. It's just being able to overcome it.
100%.
Just like everyone's brain is doing everything it possibly can to keep them in their comfort zone. Everything it possibly can. So like when I'll have new mentoring clients that are like skeptical to like, pay to get in, and it's just like, that's your brain trying to keep you in your comfort zone. I'm like, what growth are you gonna have when you don't escape your comfort zone? Like, you have to, or you're never gonna experience true growth. Because like when you're in your comfort zone, like I would consider the comfort zone like your room, your house, your couch. Just like on your phone, watching Netflix. Like nothing really productive. You're just comfortable. You're comfortable as fuck, which is obviously okay sometimes. Like everybody needs reset where like they just chill. Like that's me on Sundays. Like I'll work for like 3 hours, 4 hours on Sunday, and then as soon as it hits like 5 o'clock, I'm like, all right, it's self-care time. Like I'm gonna enjoy myself, and then I'm gonna have this whole week ahead of me to work. And Sundays are the days where because I feel like if you put all the effort in the other 6 days of the week, it makes the Sunday so much more rewarding.
100%. Yeah, big time. When I rest and I know that I haven't earned that, that there's things that I should have done that I didn't do, I don't enjoy it because it's like that's on my mind. But you're right. When I leave it all on the table at the end of the day, and I go to my couch and I just lay on that couch, I'm just like, yes, this feels good.
It feels fucking great.
And people, they want to create amazing lives, but you can't do that staying within your comfort zone. You can't create very, very, very little behaving in that way. I love the quote that you shared, how courage is not the absence of fear, right? It is just taking action
to overcome it. Yeah.
To overcome it.
That one hit me when I heard it. I was like,
it's a good one.
I was like, damn.
So you're about to make a big move in your life.
Yeah, dude, pretty nervous about it, truthfully. The first experience of my whole entire life where I've done something like that,
I think it's good for people to hear that and to hear you acknowledge it, because it kind of goes to show like that's there right now, and regardless of the fact that that's there, you're gonna make this huge move, whether it's to Miami or another city. But a part of why you came here is to kind of, hey, like, is this a city that I want to move to? Yeah. We visited some apartments, and I think your life and what you've done in the past couple of years since dropping out of college is a testament to what you can do when you step out of your comfort zone. You listen to that call to adventure, and you take action regardless of fear. I mean,
yeah, and you as well. You're right there with me. You dropped out of college, right?
100%. Yeah, dude. I dropped out of college when I was 22. I was on my junior year, and there was a ton of fear around that decision. I'm happy you did it as a freshman.
2 months in, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Freshman year, I knew I should have dropped out. But there was so much pressure telling me.
So much, your parents especially. Yeah. And so many people have that where like their parents are like, you have to go to college, And
For sure. And then they instill that in your head, and then you're telling that to yourself, and you don't even know where that voice is coming from. It's like, why? And yeah, dude, that fear was there. So then sophomore year, I knew I should have dropped out, and I didn't. And the junior year came around, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. I can't be here any longer.
Can't do it anymore.
Because kind of like you, and like a lot of the people that are having a lot of success at a very young age, I realized what the internet, what social media platforms, the countless, the limitless possibilities that we're bringing to the table.
Limitless,
to create a life that's different from what, let's say, our parents had to go through, different from just a traditional path. And
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Like, go to college, then get a safe job. They sell you the $100,000 dream. They make it seem that $100,000 is a lot of money, right? And they're saying, if you go into a good job, tech, law, you go into become a lawyer,
you'll make six
doctor.
figures.
Yeah,
and come on.
And then you make that your own goal, and you don't even realize that by doing so, you're limiting yourself to what's actually possible.
Yeah.
If you just kind of step out of that pattern of thinking that they program you with, and
on top of that, you're getting into debt.
Yeah.
The debt that you're gonna have to pay off
unreal.
For years.
Yeah.
That was one of the main contributors to me. I was like, so wait, you're telling me I'm going here to torture myself practically, and then I'm gonna have to pay it off for like 10 years? Like, what the fuck?
With a job that's not even paying you enough to sustain that and live well, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't think a lot of people understand, because I didn't understand this till recently, the abundance of the world, bro. Like, no matter what sector you find yourself in, like whether it be photography, what I do, like coaching, like there is so much abundance. Like, there's 7 billion people. And if you market it right, you advertise it right, bro, Facebook, like, anything is possible. Absolutely anything. Like, you don't even have to have any credibility, and you can still, like, start a business and make 6 figures within a year.
Absolutely.
With a year.
Absolutely. Look, I'm so passionate about this idea that it's never been easier. Never been easier. Now, that's not to say it's going to be easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It takes a lot of work.
But it's just so much more worth it than slaving to understand, like, calculus 2. Yeah. You know? Like, I would much rather read, like, a self-development book. And, like, when I'm reading that book, I'm sitting there like, holy shit. Like, I cannot wait to implement this into my life. And then when I'm reading, like, my math shit, I would just, like, cry. I'm like, why do I need to know this shit? Like, there's no reason. No reason at all.
Such a good point, man. And that is your intuition, right? And I think society kind of tells you to, hey, don't listen to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, this is the right path to follow.
That's crazy to think about.
Your own wisdom, ignore that.
Ignore your intuition.
Yeah. And dude, I can tell you, every single time I've had to make a decision that was going to take things to the next level, whether it was dropping out of college, moving to Miami, changing majors.
Trusting your intuition.
Well, first of all, I asked the people around me that I trusted, parents, uncles, teachers, guidance counselors, and most of them gave me the advice of, hey, just go the traditional route, do
safe
things
route,
this
play
way.
the safe way.
Yeah, but
gosh,
a lot of times my intuition was telling me, hey, go the other way. And I am where I am at today
because of your intuition. Because
I trusted my intuition, and every single time I listened to that instead of what other people were telling me. Bro, so it's like we're so wise inside.
So wise. So many people are unaware of what their intuition even is, bro, which fucking blows my mind. Bro. Blows my mind. Like, when we were debating on going to that club or not, just tonight, my intuition was just like, like, not feeling it. But then, like, part of my brain was like, I'm in Miami, it's Saturday night, just go to the bar. But my intuition was just weighing it out, bro. And then my intuition about coming down here, like so many people are like, I don't think you should go. I don't think you should go. I'm like, how do you know what's best for me? You know what I mean? Like, that's what another thing that I could go on a tangent about is, like, so many people are accepting advice from people that claim they have the best interest for them, but they don't know what is best for them. Like, all love to my mother, but she doesn't have the perspective mindset that I have, like you and I have. So it's crazy to think that in some instances you might know what's better for me because you're living the life that I desire. Like, and not that I don't desire her life, but I feel like I'm built for more. So there's so many people out there that will try to feed you advice that don't know what's best for you. So that's where your intuition comes so heavy into play, because you have to take everyone's advice that's given to you with a grain of salt and form your own perspective around it.
Absolutely. I am keen on only taking advice from people that are where I want to be.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, how are you telling me to go somewhere where you don't even understand the roadmap? You know, and people have good intentions. You know, they want the best for you, but a lot of times they don't see what you see.
Exactly.
Especially, I would say, the older generation, when they look at what's possible with social media, they don't see the limitless possibilities.
The intricacies either.
So there's a lot of people right now that are going the traditional path because the parents, perhaps that was the good path
for them
20, 30, 40 years ago, but dude, it doesn't make sense anymore. And people need to wake up, and it's like there needs to be an act of rebellion where they say, look, appreciate this, but I'm going to listen to my intuition and go this route. So there's two things that we've touched on. We've touched on courage, the importance of taking action in the face of fear. We've talked about listening to your intuition, because that will guide you.
It will guide you.
We've talked about how when you do that, the universe is going to guide you, and it's gonna help you.
Give you a nudge.
Yeah, and it'll put the right people in front of you, the right doors will
you just have, once you trust it, like, you actually have to put your trust into the universe that it has your best interest, and everything falls into place, bro. Yeah. Like, everything. Like, perfect example, my car broke down, the transmission, and I had more than, like, just enough to pay for it. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of fucking bizarre that this happens right before I decide that I want to move to Miami. And I'm like, someone could have viewed that like, oh, fuck the universe. Like, oh, like, no, I have to pay for this car. But I try to, when I have problems, difficulties in my life, I try to look at them from all angles. So then I had the angle of, maybe my car broke down because the universe doesn't want me to flush any more of my money into a depreciating asset, you know what I mean? And use that money to do what my intuition's telling me to do. So once I followed that, here I am now. So, like, it's just wild because I trust it so much. Trusting it has not done me wrong once yet.
Yeah, and it's very wise to look at situations, and perhaps a lot of people that have listened to this, like, they might be going through some shit, you know. But even when I look back on my own life, every time that I was going through it, looking back, it was the universe kind of saying, hey, I know you really want to go here, but you're kind of going this direction. Let me just kind of reroute you a little bit.
Reroute you.
Yeah. And even when we were talking last night and you were sharing your story with me about how you felt after dropping out of college, about your roommate, right? About your previous relationship. All those things were probably very painful at the moment.
Painful
but
as fuck.
That was kind of the universe rerouting you in this direction in which, like, dude, it's insane the fact that you're 20 years old. You have an influence, a huge influence. I mean, you just crushed 1 million followers on TikTok recently, so you have a huge reach. You're building a business for yourself that's allowing you to, dude, I think with what you've done with us working together, in the past, like, 30 days, you've made more than some MBAs do, that some lawyers do on a monthly basis.
It's kind of crazy.
You know?
It's kind of crazy to think about.
But I see patterns in the people that are making it happen, and they're recognizing that, look, we live in a totally different world. I'm gonna adjust. I'm gonna see what's possible, and I'm gonna make smart decisions of which direction to move. I'm gonna answer that call to adventure that we all experience at some point. I'm gonna act in the face of fear, and they usually follow their gut and their intuition.
You have to accept that the world is an entirely different place as well. And what you were just saying kind of reminded me of this saying I've heard, and it was, in retrospect, the times of your worst suffering will be the most beautiful. Which is like, I was like, fuck, like that's so true, because like when I look back on when I was absolutely down in the shit or like depressed, and like I learned so much from it looking back on it, because like now I just know how valuable the time is. Like I'm so glad it happened to me when I was 18 years old, because like some people don't go through that till they're like 25. And then like I feel like this might sound weird, this might be a hot take too, but I feel like depression is honestly a gift, because nothing is going to show you how to appreciate what you have more than that. Once you make your way out of it, like there's nothing that will show you the value of your time or the value of good people around you. You know, like nothing, you can't appreciate what you have until it's gone. And like being depressed almost makes you feel like, dude, I was living in that one house I was telling you about, like hot tub, pool, TV outside, a bar inside, like fucking gorgeous. And I was depressed as hell, like I was suicidal, and like depression like takes away your gratitude for everything. So it like, in retrospect, it like just shows you how powerful gratitude is. And just like gratitude is the key to happiness. Like I preach this all the time, but it just sounds cliche. You know, no one wants to hear like, oh, just be thankful. That's gonna make you happy, but it really is like that easy.
Huge.
It's that easy.
When you're in a state of gratitude, you're naturally in a state of abundance, and you're in a state of receivership. You know, and yeah, it is the contrast that allows us to really see color. You know, so it is the negative emotions that it is the lows that make the highs high. Exactly. You know, and in regards to depression, I definitely think that for some people there are legit neurological and neurochemical imbalances. But I also think for a lot of people, depression comes as a result of them just not listening to that intuition and just kind of pushing it down and saying, well, I'm going to go the traditional way. I'm not going to listen to this, whether it's like being in a bad relationship, whether it's eating bad food, or going to a career that you weren't really passionate about.
Exactly.
And dude, all that leads you to eventually go and like create a life for yourself that it's not really the life that you want to live. And I think this brings us to a beautiful point. It is the importance of having a clear vision of what you want out of life, dude. Like I talk to people and I ask them, so in my mentoring sessions, when I get a new client, one of the first things that I dive into, and I did this with you, it's like, hey man, like what do you want? What's your vision for the next year? What's your vision for where do you want to be 5-10 years from now? And most people have no idea.
Dude.
Have no idea. That's like taking an Uber and not telling the Uber where to go and expecting to get there.
It's fucked, dude. Like, just having an idea of what you want is pretty much almost enough. You know, like just having some sense of direction. To, like, okay, I want to end up here. You know, like a year ago, I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted something lavish, like the city, the abundance, the city life, like. That's all I knew. But then as my vision got sharper and sharper and sharper, I get specific. And when you get specific, you start manifesting these things. And the abundance starts falling in. And it's just, it starts coming in so fast. Yeah. You're like, where has this been my whole life? And it's just, all you have to do is, I posted a video about this, but it didn't really do that well because I don't think people are, it could be considered boring because it's real life shit, you know? But there's 5 principles to success, and it's faith. So you have to believe in it. You have to have an idea. So you have to know what you want. You have to plan. You have to take action, and you have to have persistence. Those 5 things, you can have anything in the entire world. There's nothing that you can't have with those 5 principles.
That is all you need. And what's cool is that when your vision becomes clear, at an energetic state, you're sending a clear picture. I generally believe that the world will give us what we want. Ask and you shall receive, right? That's been the promise since Adam and Eve. That's how one of Montreal's songs goes.
Exactly.
And it really has. But you have to send a clear signal. You can't do that unless you can't send a clear signal unless you have a clear vision. So for me, once I started getting clear on, okay, I want to live in an apartment with huge windows, with a bunch of natural sunlight. I want to surround myself with amazing people. I want to help people. Like what I'm passionate about is like helping like the young generation, young people break out of their 9 to 5, break out of the traditional route and doing it in a profitable way. When I started getting clear about what I really wanted, things started moving really, really, really fast. And
so quick.
And sometimes people will disregard that, but this is something that takes time. Like it takes you sitting down and thinking through this and planning,
putting the phone away,
yeah,
not having any external thoughts, like all inner thought, like all these thoughts are coming organically. That is how you plan like efficiently.
Big time.
It's hard sometimes, like especially because my job is pretty much from my phone. It's like it'll be super hard for me to make time to just put it away. But if I can do it, fucking anybody can do it, right? Like just put the phone away and have some organic thoughts, because when you're on your phone, you're scrolling. It's so you pass time without even realizing it, but you're filling your subconscious brain with mush when you're scrolling, because you'll one scroll you'll see dudes on dirt bikes doing backflips, and the next you'll see some dude asking which rich people do for a living. And it's just like none of this stuff's going to be retained. And the organic thoughts, when you have like a fire organic thought and you write it down, there's nothing that really feels like that. It's so, just being able to put the phone down is fucking crucial, bro. And I could stress that for days, even though like I'll post videos, I'll say like you should use social media less. People are like, well, you're using social media. I'm like, well, how the fuck else are you gonna hear me say it? Like there's no other way.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, they're not mindful also of what they're consuming. And I think the reason why people are consuming all the time is because they're looking for something. And it's so contradictory, because what they're looking for, it's not going to be on the feed.
It's not.
The thing that fulfills you, the thing that truly fulfills you, will come from your own inner wisdom, from silence. That voice that will tell you, hey, go in this direction, or hey, maybe think about this way, or do things in this other way. And those are the insights that allow you. We were talking about your intuition. That's your intuition telling you how to create the life that you want to live,
bro. I heard this. I was reading this book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and I literally read like 2 pages, and I picked this from it. It was saying that like your subconscious mind has the answers for everything. Literally, it's tapped into this infinite knowledge, and I was like, I'm sitting here like that part alone gave me goosebumps, because I was like, that makes like sense, because sometimes my subconscious will tell me shit that I just like. I'm like, how did you just come up with that? So every single night before he goes to bed, he says, subconscious, I am appreciative that you have given me the knowledge of what I am looking to obtain. So he's pretty much, because gratitude is one of the most powerful chemicals to be released through your body. So when by saying these appreciative statements, you're releasing the chemical of gratitude through your body, which is like healing. So by appreciating it, your brain thinks it's receiving something. Your whole body thinks it's receiving something. So you say, subconscious, thank you for enlightening me with this idea that you have brought to me upon my sleep, because your subconscious never sleeps, ever. Like your subconscious is your body, and your body's always moving like in your sleep. So you say that every night before you go to bed, and you'll wake up with ideas. You'll wake up with ideas. And I've tried it a few times, and I wake up and I have ideas for posts. I have ideas on how I can get more engagement, and it's just like, you have everything. Everything you need is within. And it's insanely life-changing once you start implementing that shit into your life on like a serious note.
For sure. It's getting in tune with that voice, and I think that brings us full circle to the elements that if somebody wants to go out and create a life that they enjoy living, a life that they're thrilled every morning, to wake up to where it's like every day you're just like, dude, like I can't relate to people. It's like Mondays.
I love Mondays now, bro.
Right. Every single day, I look forward to starting the quote unquote work week.
It's crazy, bro.
But yeah, that brings us full circle. You know, it's having a clear vision, listening to your intuition, taking action in the face of fear.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What else? We
Did we
covered
miss
a
anything?
fucking lot. Covered a lot. Something about subconscious. Something about that.
The power of silence and of tuning out
putting
the
away
world.
the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good note to end on, honestly. We just crushed that. Like, I feel like if people actually listen to that full-heartedly, implement that shit, they'll have a different life.
For sure.
Really feel like it. I really feel like it. So
it's a good one, and it's so easy when you're just consuming information to just say, oh yeah, like that feels good. But it's so easy to confuse the feeling, like the feel good feeling that you get when you listen to something that like makes you excited, for actually taking action on those things.
You have
Two
to
totally different things.
hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Like actually tell yourself, all right, I'm gonna do this. And if I don't do this, I'm going to take an L. Like, I'm going to give myself an L. And you don't want to be dragging around with an L on your head. Like,
right.
Hold yourself accountable. A lot of these things ultimately come down to discipline. Like, so many people tell me, like, hey, how do I put my phone down? Like, I just can't do it. I'm like, well, why are you using it? And they won't give me, like, a valid reason. I'll just say, all right, well, then this just comes down to discipline. Like, discipline yourself to take these actions that are going to be uncomfortable at first. But you're not going to grow without being uncomfortable.
Never. Yeah, I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap right there.
All
right, everybody. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Abraham, for joining me on this nice podcast.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be working with you. And, dude, I'm really, really excited for what you're going to create in the next couple of years.
Appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Stay woke. Peace out.
Later.